What's up, MGPID family? We're back with the latest update straight from the track, breaking down Moto3 Free Practice 2. Veda Pratama isn't paying any attention to the comments or opinions flying around about him. He's staying locked in on his own targets, his own process, his own race. Free Practice 2 at the Monster Energy Grand Prix of Czechia has just wrapped up, and honestly, it's wild. You could feel the tension of the competition rising with every single lap. Curious about the surprises and the fine details from this session? Let's dive in together and break it all down, piece by piece. Let's start with our pride and joy from back home, Veda Pratama. In this second free practice session, Veda closed out the day in 22nd place, with a best lap time of 2 minutes 6.585 seconds. Looking at where he landed in the timesheets, we have to be honest, Veda Pratama is clearly having a tough time right now, especially once the riders hit the demanding, progressive corners of the Brno circuit. The other riders, and the other teams as well, are managing to fight their way back into contention, which is exactly what commentator Luis pointed out when he was talking about Veda's situation. According to Luis, Veda's start to the season wasn't bad at all, far from it. He managed to land inside the top 5 across 3 of the major Grand Prix rounds. But now that we're heading into the back half of the season and returning to the European tracks, everyone is stepping their game up. Everyone is finding more pace. So the real question becomes, is Veda actually progressing along with them, or is he starting to fall behind the curve? Let's get back to the numbers, though, because the data tells an interesting story. His actual performance shows a genuinely solid improvement compared to free practice 1, where he could only manage 2 minutes 7.544 seconds. That means he shaved off almost a full second from his previous best. Nearly a full second of improvement is nothing to scoff at in a class this tight. On the top speed front, his Honda was also moving pretty well, touching 228.3 kilometers per hour at its fastest point during the session. But again, context matters here. Everybody is improving. Every single rider out there is finding tenths and hundredths somewhere on the track. Veda can shave off time, sure, but so can everybody else around him, which keeps the overall gap roughly where it was. Veda was also tracked putting in serious work throughout the session, completing a total of 14 laps. And that actually raises an interesting question, both narratively and in terms of pure racing logic. Is Veda purely focused on gathering as much sector data as possible to help the team develop the bike setup, or is there still a genuine technical struggle happening behind the scenes? Because if we're being real about it, Honda Team Asia simply hasn't shown a performance level that's significant or competitive enough to fight inside the top 5, or even the top 10, just yet. So what do you all think, guys? Because here's the kicker. Veda's time and Zen Matani's time are basically identical. We're talking a gap of just 0.2 seconds between them. That right there is essentially the raw, honest pace of Honda Team Asia at this exact moment here in the Czech Republic. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear what you think is really going on. Now let's shift over to the fight happening at the front of the field. The balance of power in this session was completely dominated by a rider from Spain. Álvaro Carpe delivered a genuine shock by smashing the all-time benchmark, putting down a stunning lap of 2 minutes 4.4 seconds, officially recorded at 2 minutes 4.394 seconds. That blistering effort, set on his 10th lap of the session, officially broke the all-time lap record previously held by Hakim Danish here at the Brno Circuit in the Czech Republic. Absolutely electric stuff, guys. Carpe's pace was so dominant that he managed to carve out a genuinely significant gap over the rest of the field, a full 0.429 seconds clear of Maximo Quiles, who had to settle for second place with a time of 2 minutes 4.823 seconds. Meanwhile, Argentinian rider Marco Morelli rounded out the top 3 with a time of 2 minutes 5.120 seconds. Watching Morelli right now, it really does feel like he's getting serious heading into the second half of the season. He's shaping up to be a genuine contender for a top 3 finish in the 2026 championship standings. Definitely one to keep an eye on as the season progresses. Now, if we actually translate the timesheet data from the official release, the technical numbers tell a much bigger story than the raw lap times alone could ever show. Álvaro Carpe's record-breaking lap wasn't a fluke. It was built on the raw power output of his KTM RC250R, which recorded the fastest top speed of the entire session at a scorching 232.2 kilometers per hour. That number alone proves just how dialed in the combination of engine power and aerodynamics is on that bike right now. It's a brutal, prime setup. On the flip side, let's talk about the session's quiet dark horse, Hakim Danish from Malaysia. He's sitting in 5th place with a time of 2 minutes 5.354 seconds. But don't let that 5th place finish fool you. Hakim Danish's pace has been remarkably consistent. As of today, Saturday afternoon, we've now seen 3 full practice sessions, and across all all three, Hakim Danish has maintained that same steady rhythm. That consistency really says something. It's a reflection of how well his bike setup is dialed in and how confident he himself is feeling. It shows he can genuinely compete at the very sharp end of this field. We're definitely watching closely to see how Hakim Danish and his team respond from here. Will we see the same version of him we've sometimes seen before, talented but not quite consistent enough to fight inside the top three? Or will this be the weekend it finally clicks? Remember, his most recent high point came at Mugello, where he stood on the podium with zero drama and zero mistakes. A completely clean, controlled ride. It's genuinely exciting to watch an ASEAN rider, and specifically a Malaysian rider, putting himself in this kind of position heading into qualifying. The lap record run he was chasing, and ultimately had broken from beneath him, shows just how mature and race-ready his rhythm has become, and it's a clear warning sign for every rider currently sitting in the front row. That especially goes for Maximo Quiles, David Almanza, Marco Morelli, and of course, Alvaro Carpe himself, who now has a target firmly painted on his back as, "Oh, here's where we land." FP2 has turned into real, undeniable proof that the battle for pole position later today is going to be aggressive, and honestly, there's a real chance that all-time lap record gets broken again before the day is done. It's already an insane new benchmark. Every rider on the grid is clearly switching back into full attack mode now that the championship has returned to European soil. As we head deeper into the back half of the season, the championship picture for 2026 is starting to come into much sharper focus, and it's shaping up to be genuinely exciting. The big question hanging over everything is this: will Veda's current trend, a fairly noticeable dip across these last two rounds, continue all the way through to the Asian rounds later in the calendar? Or could this actually end up being the bounce-back moment, the springboard that pushes him and his team to regroup, refocus, and fight their way back into that competitive top 10-point zone? It's genuinely fascinating to think about, and we can't wait to see how it plays out. So what's your honest take, guys? Is what we're watching right now the real picture, the actual state of things? Or is there more to it than meets the eye? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Did our guys' performance today match up with what you expected going in? And more importantly, where do you think Veda can realistically push up to once qualifying gets underway? Go ahead and pour out all your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section. Let's talk it out together like we're just hanging out. No filter, no boundaries. Say whatever's on your mind. We'll respond to it all with a chill, open vibe, because there's zero gatekeeping happening here. No walls between us. Just keep it respectful. No foul language, no disrespect, nothing like that, and we're good. Drop your comments below, and we'll catch you in the next one.